Yeah. I think Georgia will be the number one team next week.
Yeah. I think that was the score isn't going to show it, but I think that was a huge win for them.
Missouri's not a slouch team.
They're not. I mean, obviously they were number 12, but being without Brock Bowers, that's really what I wanted to see is how they played without him. And so they played.
Oscar Delp's good.
Yeah, they played really well. They
wish he'd have come to Carolina.
It's just another thing that Georgia does that a lot of teams, not just South Carolina, they have the depth where okay, this guy's out. Who cares? I mean, we got this guy.
Yeah.
And that's why they've won 2 national championships in a row. That's why they're on pace to try and win the 3rd one in a row is because they have the starting talent, and then their second string could probably be starting at South Carolina right now or
any school.
Any school, really.
Yeah, any school.
I mean, there's a ton of players on that team, and it was kind of like how Alabama was for years, where like, all right, they're 3 deep, and they're 3rd string running. I mean, at one point, Derrick Henry was a 3rd string running back for Alabama.
Bro, I mean, honestly, we're gearing up for an Alabama, Georgia. I mean, dude,
Alabama's crawling themselves back in to be in the playoffs.
They've still got Ole Miss this week, and they still have to play Tennessee,
and then they'll have to play Alabama.
So, I mean, if they all win out,
right? Alabama's making
really
a case to get themselves back in that national championship conversation.
Yeah,
they'll probably be in the top. What were they last week?
They're 7. No.
They were right. They were right on the cusp. They'll be in the conversation for the playoffs come Tuesday night for sure.
Let's see what else.
Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not looking as scary coming to the SEC as
I follow.
It's just a name.
It's that's how it is for all these big time programs. They get ranked in preseason.
Yeah.
Because of their name.
What was LSU?
15.
They were ranked 15th?
14 or 15th.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody thought Alabama was going to go in and win last night. But
here's another thing for the Alabama game. Go ahead.
But credit to Saban and Tommy Rees for finding, like, they benched Jalen for the South Florida game.
Yeah.
You saw their 2 other options were not any good. And, this is all speculation about what happened, but I'm sure Saban went to Reese like, you need to figure it out and figure out how to get the best out of him. That's what you get paid all this money for.
This is what I wish that you could see out of Beamer is that Saban, even last night, I mean, he will go to his coaches on the sideline and he will dog them out on the sideline and just hold them to a higher level.
But you do realize if he was a newer coach, he wouldn't get away with that.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen Saban. I mean, he's been doing that since back he was at LSU. I mean, they would dog them all. I mean, they got videos of him and Muschamp and them and just dogging each other.
But he was a national championship coach already at that time.
Yeah.
Like, in order to do that, you have to be able to win because guess what? If you do that and you suck, nobody wants to go work for you. People tolerate that now because he's Nick Saban. Like, these new head coaches can't, I mean...
Yeah,
I hate, like, Dabo doesn't. I'm pretty sure I've never seen Dabo.
They'd probably
absolutely
do more
lay into a coach in the game. Now, in meetings and stuff, it's probably different,
right?
But like, not every.
I wish we could see it. That's all.
Not every coach is like that. But again, he wouldn't get away with that if he sucked.
You're right. That is
winning
true.
cures everything.
Right.
Like Muschamp could get away with how he was as a head coach if he just won.
Yeah,
like
I think that but the thing is like a lot of people gave Muschamp a passes because he was like that as a decent, like they've known him to be that type of coach since he was even a defensive coordinator under Saban and stuff. So he kind of just carried that on. So it wasn't like it was ever a new thing.
Yeah,
where it would be a new thing to see Beamer out there, just blessing one of the coaches out. But I also think that here's a question I want to know is Clayton White in the booth or is he on the ground?
He's on the sideline.
Okay, let's put him in the booth then.
He started in the booth.
Okay.
So like first
so they did actually try to do something different and it still ain't working.
I think they did it from a perspective of like you're down there.
You can talk to the players. Right, yeah.
But then they've got
that's what I
position
like.
coaches up top.
Yeah, I like the coordinators being on the ground.
Yeah.
Because they can have conversations.
Yeah.
In between plays, in between series. But yeah, if he started in the booth, went to the ground, it still ain't working. Then They tried something. Hey, hats off. You did try something different.
They did that. I think they did that last year. But
so last year, I'm talking about this season.
No, I think
he's been on the
the
ground.
sideline.
I put him back in the
season.
booth.
He's been on the sideline all season.
Put him back in the booth then.
But I'll say this too, because you brought up last week about you working for your dad and being a salesman. So what if y'all were doing something, you're like on a sales call or something in the office, and you blew a sale or something. There's your coworkers in the office. There's
we've had full blown arguments in the office before.
But what would your thought be if your dad just laid into you and like cussed you up and down?
I mean,
I know what I'd do.
You'd probably give it right back to him.
I'd just walk out.
Well, I mean,
I
it's a different thing, and yeah, but as far as that kind of thing, like it's kind of known. Like, all right, on sidelines, players are going to get chewed out. You don't see coaches getting chewed out as much, but again, like you said, Saban has the pedigree to do that.
Yeah.
But man, if he's been on the ground all season, get him in the booth. Let's try something. They acted like the defense was better last year whenever he was in the booth.
Send him down to the Bojangles and just hang out there.
No, but for real, put him in the booth. Let's see how that. Maybe the players just don't respond to him well on the sidelines. Maybe maybe they're the type of players that if they have a bad series, hey, we just want to just think about it ourselves. Yeah. Don't come over here. Maybe they're same thing. If Beamer doesn't want to chew out the coaches and stuff like that, maybe the players don't respond well to that. So maybe they just want to go to their position coach during,
I've always been curious what coaches say on like the headsets
to each other.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all drinking after this, because this has been terrible.
Yeah.
That's what I would have been saying.
I'd go sit at Bojangles. That place is efficient right there. But I had a couple other games on here. The good thing about the fascinating thing about the Oklahoma State Oklahoma game, it's the last time they're going to play.
Yeah.
In the regular season, at least. And Oklahoma State kind of got petty with them, like they were playing like a couple. Like,
will they not take them as one of their non-conference?
I don't think so.
Nobody cares about that game anymore. Anyway, but outside of the state of Oklahoma, it's not like
You can say that about our game against Clemson.
This year, especially.
Any year. I mean, it just
in the South though. But I'm saying like nationwide, people know about like the Red River rivalry.
Bedlam's a big rivalry.
I didn't watch it.
Well, that's but then
not
again,
I didn't watch.
Lot, though.
After the South Carolina game, I didn't watch.
I usually have to.
Football.
Usually, I'll text you like, "Hey, we're going to talk about these games tomorrow."
Yeah.
Do a little bit of studying. But the Iowa Northwestern game, oh god,
Iowa's hit the under in 3 straight games.
I don't know how you could go to a game and enjoy that.
Punt, turnover, turnover on downs.
I mean,
punt,
10-7. I get it if it's like a 10-7 game and it's like
two just badass defenses.
That's how Alabama LSU games used to be.
Yeah,
but it's because the defenses were so good. Where this is just the offenses are just so incompetent.
Right.
The defenses don't need to do anything.
Top 6. I think Alabama's going to get in the top 6.
No.
Yeah.
No team lost.
Don't matter.
Whose spot would they take?
Who's number 6? Put Oregon. It back up, Zeb.
It's Oregon.
Yeah, get them out of there.
What?
I mean, Alabama's number 8. They made a case to be. And I'm not sure, what did Florida State do this week?
Right.
I mean, who did Florida State play? I think Alabama had the most, outside of Georgia, I think Alabama had the most convincing win.
Florida State beat Pitt 24-7.
Not bad.
But here's the thing, it's not going to, if anything changes,
they're going to jump.
It'll be
Texas.
Georgia and Ohio State flip. No, they won't.
Yeah, they're going to jump Texas.
Texas beat Kansas State in overtime, but it was still a ranked win. I mean, you're right. They very well could jump them. But honestly, that would be 1 and 2 could flip, and then 8 and 7 could flip.
Here's the thing. The committee has to start doing what they do every year, and they have to start making the case slowly, week by week, to get Alabama in there. So they got to move them up at some point here so that when they do play Georgia, if they beat Georgia, that solidifies them into the top 4. They can't go from 8 to 4, I don't think. So,
but if the teams in front of them don't lose, you can't.
Right, but the committee does it every year. They make a case for the money. They make the case because they know that Alabama's that moneymaker where nobody cares about Washington. They just truly don't. Outside of the state of Washington.
What I'm saying, though, is there's 6 other teams in front of Alabama that are just as much moneymakers as Alabama.
Not Washington. Not Oregon.
What?
Not nationwide. Like, nobody's staying up to watch Oregon. Not like Alabama, dude. Alabama, if you said who is more nationally recognized year in and year out, Alabama or Oregon, it's Alabama every day. But the thing is they, and I'm not saying that they're better than these or even money, but the committee, you know it. They do it every year. They try and make a case.
They didn't do it last year.
They keep Alabama right there on that bubble, right there on the fringe, so that they make a run.
This year.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they deserve, I think that they deserve to be, they could beat any of those teams. This year would have been the perfect year to have the expanded playoffs because there's no true, like, you can make a case for almost all of these teams to be in the top 4.
No.
The top 8, you can make a case for them to be in the top 4.
No.
Because Georgia and Alabama, that's going to settle itself.
Maybe.
Washington, I don't know, man. They're not. Michigan's going to have so many sanctions and suspensions by the end of the year. Who's going to know if they even have a head coach?
I saw a message board, and there's probably, and I think that's what you're
Florida
about
State,
to say.
hey, it's not going to be any cakewalk for them to have to play North Carolina in the ACC championship game.
Investigations linking Michigan to Ohio State.
Ohio State might be out of it.
No.
Who will they? So Michigan and Ohio State, have they played each other yet?
No, they played last game of the year.
So that'll settle itself out too. They're going to make Alabama get in there.
No.
You want to make a wager right now that Alabama gets into the top 4 if they win the SEC?
Are you saying Alabama will make the college football playoff?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll bet it.
If they win out and they win the SEC.
They have to make the college football playoff, right?
If they win the SEC, they're getting in.
Not just getting to.
But you're saying, like, if all of these teams continue to win,
yes,
Alabama's out.
Yes.
No, well, yeah, because Georgia would beat Alabama.
But then you look at resume.
Alabama, $20 Alabama gets into the playoffs.
No, we're not going to do money. We're going to do something else.
Okay.
We'll
discuss the wager, but there will be a wager that Alabama makes the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah.
Alabama's getting into the top 4.
They have to make, not just getting to the top 4. They have to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they have to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
When it comes time to say the last ranking, Alabama has to be 1 through 4.
Okay.
And they'll be in there.
That's fair. That's fair.